Hello and welcome back to the weird world of Nub TV, where we mix up the paranormal, UFOs, conspiracies with a small c, and the best new music. Today we'll be exploring time travel. Yay! And we're speaking with a magnificent Plastic EP all the way from Melbourne in Australia.
I love Plastic EP.
Yeah, but you can actually hear him shout all the way from Australia. It's brilliant. But he gets very excited about time travel, actually. So,
I'm looking forward to it.
he's also in a band as well, I've just found out.
Really?
I said, you've got to send us a video to play on Nub TV.
Oh, please,
So
yeah.
we'll have to watch out for that later in the series.
What sort of music do you know?
I think it's like, he's a massive Beatles fan. He knows more about the Beatles than me, which is cool.
Oh,
Yeah, so there you go. Plastic EP.
interesting.
So what have we got first?
What have we got first? Today we've got the high ones.
Oh,
And
high ones. Anything to do with drugs or
it's about blueberries.
blueberries?
Yeah, so
Never been high on blueberries.
no, I think you can if you leave them to ferment long enough. But I've got a good story about this song actually.
you? Okay.
Once we watch
Okay.
it, so
Okay.
yeah.
Let's check it out. A really good kind of killer riff, that, I think.
Yeah,
It's got a nice beat.
got a bit of 90s indie swagger in there.
Yeah, I thought a bit of Pink Floyd, actually.
Yeah.
A dancey Pink Floyd.
Blueberry Smile.
Yeah. Okay, what's your funny story about it?
So, well, yeah, so they were on the verge of getting signed, back in the 90s, you still
Yeah.
could, like early 90s, you could still sign a good record deal.
Mm-hmm.
And they played the borderline. They had a indie company, like a decent, like, ready to
Yeah,
sign a contract. And
Yeah.
they did want to sign,
yeah.
but just the drummer. So they had a really cool, like...
Was it a girl drummer?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was.
okay. Every time.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a sad story, but I don't know what happened to the drummer.
I don't
Where
know
was she?
what happened to the rest of the band. I don't know.
No, who knows?
Abducted by time travelers. Well, from the 90s to 500 years in the future, I'm talking to Australian broadcaster and researcher, Plastic EP. He's got some weird time travel stories. Let's take a look.
Okay, on Nub TV next, we have a fabulously crazy, eccentric Australian correspondent, Plastic EP, and he's got a great time traveling story for us. Take it away.
That's great. I got the blue today. You can see I've got the planet behind me there. That's Earth. Everyone's watching Nub TV. Hey, guess what? I can see your house from here.
You can go there, yeah.
I can see what you're doing there watching TV. I can see everyone in the UK now. Now let's have a time traveler story, which I'm sure you're going to enjoy because a lot of people watch a lot of science fiction TV, right? And then it gets into their imagination, and then they can take a story and make it bigger. And the story that may be true at one point becomes an extravaganza on a different level, right? And what this story is about, it's about a person called Mr. X that's from another planet, let's say Mars. He comes down to Earth. He comes down about 250 years ahead of time. And what he does is he picks out stocks in the US stock market, right? There were about 126 stocks of these high-risk stocks. And he spends up to $800 and turns $800 into $350 million within 2 weeks. So, I mean, that's, if you think about it now, we've got to use common sense. That's a bit of a stretch, all right? So where these points seem to be a bit stretched, I'm going to point them out that they're a bit stretched. Anyway, of course, you're going to get the federal agents and the authorities onto you if you can get $350 million within 2 weeks. And what he tried to do is he tried to make some of these stocks lose. So he didn't get all the heat, and it didn't work. Like most of them were gaining money. And then the story was they wanted to find out and sue him because, of course, they insinuated that insider trading, and he had a lot of help from a lot of people helping him, right? And there was a story that this guy's like even a lunatic. He came from Mars and he got out, and then what happens is the police, intelligence police from Mars came down to get him from Earth because he had a court date and he didn't turn up. So, I mean, everything so far I've said is a story. But you can see, you got to try make it a bit of a stretch. When I mean that, what do you personally believe out there? Do you believe everything they tell you? I mean, there's time traveling stories. I like them because some of them are like a laugh. Why would you come 250 years ahead of time, right?
Yeah.
To do stocks. I mean, if you came from Mars, what are you going to do with the money? Look, I don't understand. The money's probably useless in Mars. Am I right? Plus, he didn't hang around on Earth to spend it. And then apparently they put $1 million as a... You had to pay $1 million to get him out of jail for bail.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently some people came down, they reckon, from Mars. They didn't look a bit like humans. They were like, you know, as I said, they weren't your regular humans, came down paying the $1 million. And after that, they never saw him again. His solicitor never saw him and he didn't turn up for court. Like, I mean, these stories are like, way out, I'm going out back to space after I've done what I needed to do. How many time travelers do you think would take advantage to make money? I mean, that's not a normal story, is it? You come here for a holiday. You'd come here and tell everyone how bad it's going to get in the future. You wouldn't worry about making money.
No, definitely not. You're quite right.
Would you go along with that train of thought?
Yeah, you got the right logic there. Why would you? Because the technology required to take you back in time, it's got to have a good reason. And making money that you can't spend it doesn't make any sense to me. Have you heard about, talking about time travelers, there's a lawyer, proper lawyer in America. It's called Andrew Basiago, okay? Proper qualified lawyer. And he claims to be a time traveler. He claims to have been part, since he was a kid, his father was involved in some Stargate thing in America, and he was part of this project, and he was sent forward in time to Mars. It's always Mars, isn't it? And he still goes there now, and he goes back and forth, time traveling between Mars. But his day job is a lawyer, and he's still there. And I'm trying to get him on the show. It'd be great for you to interview him, Andrew Basiago. And he's a very credible guy. He goes to court and he defends people, and he seems quite sane. But then this other side of him, he claims to be going through Stargates. That's amazing. I mean, either he's slightly mad or he's telling the truth.
Okay, well, I nearly sold myself. A, Pastor Keepy is hilarious, and B, what a story.
Yeah.
Absolute codswallop, but it's hilarious.
Oh, is it? It's not true. Oh.
Yeah. Some guy makes a lot of money coming back in time and betting on the stocks. It sounds like the plot from Primer, one of my favourite films, low budget movie from the 90s, I think it was.
Thing is, I mean, you're going to need money, aren't you, if you're going to a planet? So you need a way of kind of making money. So why not?
Okay.
To survive.
Okay.
And if you're going to survive on a planet, you might as well survive rather than going to like the Premier Inn. You might as well go to the Ritz.
No time travelers at the Premier Inn, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. So, I mean, if you were to time travel, where would you go?
Oh, that's a good question.
I mean, did Southampton ever win any football medals?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a good shout. 1976, of course.
Football, everyone. There you go.
Oh, imagine winning a trophy. So what about you? Where would you?
I'd time travel back to 1998 when that band called the High Ones nearly got signed.
Oh.
Because I was in the High Ones. It was my band. Did you not know that?
No, I didn't know that. Wow. So would you not have the female drummer in this time?
No, I would make her sign. We were useless. She was brilliant.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, she deserved to get signed.
Yeah.
And but she didn't. She went back to live in Belgium.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there you go. But Belgium's a great place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why are we talking about Belgium? Time travel back from this episode to a slightly better episode.
That's a good idea, isn't it? Should we do that?
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so next we've got a break and then we talk more with Plastic EP about mad time travel stories. In the sky. Okay, we're back to Plastic EP, talking more crazy time travel stories.
What's amazing are these photos that you see on the net, where you go back to the 1800s and you see a dude like he came out from like 1980 and he's dressed in the crowd of the 1800s. I mean, don't get me wrong, but now with Photoshop, I reckon you could do anything. I reckon you could put me amongst Martians and it wouldn't matter. You can have a party of normal people in your backyard, just put a few aliens sitting around and, you know, having a drink or playing in the band. You can take that photo, stick it on the net, and you can say I'm having a human alien party. What's the difference? You know what I mean? What do you believe? There's so many great things you can do with the technology to make things believable.
I mean, some say the aliens are already here and they're assimilated. They look like us. How would it be tell? Don't know.
I've heard the story that some big rock star is going to come back to Earth. You know what I mean? Reborn.
Who?
He's going to come out of hiding. And I also heard that aliens civilization living on Earth, down in the ground, right? They're going to surface and show themselves. I mean, it's like Area 51. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, it's all sci-fi. No one knows what's going on there. Have they got aliens? Have they got spaceships that they've had since the 20s and 30s? I mean, you know, it's in people's minds what's going on in Area 51.
Yeah, I think part of the problem with Area 51, there's a lot of myth around it. We can't get to the truth. And part of that reason is because the government doesn't know. It's not the government doing these things. It's private companies who are protected by, you know, the Freedom of Information Act, whereas, you know, the government's not. So the government's farmed them out to private sector companies. They can do stuff in secret. And that's where we are. And that's what I reckon. There is something going on. They've developed alien technology. These private companies own it. And you've got people like, who's the big Robert Bigelow, who's the big hotel owner. And he's building rockets. He's involved in all of this, and he knows, and he claims that there are extraterrestrials here on Earth, and we are being visited. So yeah, I mean, I think also that first contacts or disclosure maybe is going to be imminent because there's more and more stuff coming out. There's more and more videos that can't be debunked. And I think they're preparing us for a big disclosure of the fact that, yeah, we are not alone. And we should do a special show on that when it happens.
I think the Roswell incident is actually fascinating because the stories that are coming out of that and people that are dying that were there are coming out of like their deathbed and telling people what actually happened. It's like what is believable and what isn't. But to me, the Roswell incident, the story, it's so simple that to me, it's got credibility. To me, I believe that, you know, an alien craft crashed and that there were aliens dead and that they took some back and they were alive. To me, that's the most credible, like, UFO story. To me.
Sure. That makes sense to me as well. Okay. Well, that's a brilliant segment as always. And what's happening in Melbourne at the moment?
I got to say, it's getting cold here in Melbourne.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, we love watching the UK soccer when it's on. Premier League, it's fantastic. We're sports nuts down here.
Okay.
Cricket, whatever's going at the time, you know. Someone said Australians like betting on two flies flying from one wall to another.
Sounds about right. So who's your English football team? Who would you follow in England?
Well, I got to say, because I like the Beatles, of course, I'm a Liverpool supporter. But you know what the great thing is? All these teams are great because it's not down to one team. It's also watching other great games.
Sure.
Like if Liverpool isn't going that great, I don't turn the TV off and go, I don't want to watch it anymore because Liverpool's not going that good. I'll watch another game. There's so much great entertainment now on the net. Like, it's not only the TV. We're changing so much that I'm watching my iPhone while I'm sleeping and I'm watching movies. I'm watching sport. I'm watching everything on my phone, and my phone has actually taken over from the TV. And then you've got the net. So, I mean, the magic of what's happening now in technology with 2023, to me, it's like that portability, that instant thing that happens on the net. It's like that's where most people are now gaining their information. They're not carrying their TV around. And the great thing with the internet, you can go to YouTube, watch shows that played in the 60s, and you're watching it when you want to watch it. You're not watching it when it comes on commercial TV on a Saturday at 3 o'clock. There's no time limits. So the great thing about the internet is it's released us from time. There's no time constraints. I mean, you and I do a lot of shows, and you and I do a lot of editing, and you and I have diaries so we know what we're doing. I mean, I can't keep up with what I'm doing. I'm being honest, because half of my time is spent editing, and I take my hat off to you, because even putting this show together, Nub TV, award-winning films, all this, I know how much effort goes into these projects, and that's what people in the UK and the world should know. There's just not a matter of just being a front man like you and me, whatever the case is.
It's all the work behind.
It's all the work that's done behind that you do it because of the love you have for people out there in the world. You're entertaining the world, and that is the main thing.
It is. Rock and roll. Long live Nub, long live Plastic EP.
Okay, thank you, Plastic EP, for another time travel story. And I'm giving up on time travel. I think it's just nonsense, to be honest.
You had enough about.
Yeah, I'd rather look for UFOs and go off into different worlds.
It's more fun, I think, isn't it?
It'd be good to do an episode sometime about time slips. A bit linked to this, because there's this theory that certain places you can actually walk back in time. There's a couple of ladies, English ladies, were visiting the Palace of Versailles in France in the 20th century, and they were out walking, and they actually stepped back into Louis XIV time, where it was a opulent palace and people everywhere, and in fancy dress, not fancy dress, and so there's these things called time slips that people can slip back into different periods of history. And I think we should try it out in St Albans. We're here, there's lots of Romans around. There have been people in St Albans that have seen Roman soldiers marching by the side of the road. So maybe we should do Nub TV, just that.
Yeah.
Try to find a time slip.
Interesting.
Yeah, maybe film it.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. What's next?
It's a kind of groovy track by a band called The Boy From Space.
Okay, nice.
That we show a lot on Nub TV for some strange reason. But yeah, it's kind of like a groovy electronic pop track with a interesting backwards sample that you might be able to work out. Okay, and I've got a funny story about The Boy From Space. Have you called again? Searching for Life. Okay, quite apt on Nub TV. There is no life here, not even in Keith. But no, search for extraterrestrial life and time travelers all fits in. It does. But yeah, I mean, The Boy From Space apparently got their name from some sort of kids' TV show. Oh, okay. Yeah, didn't know that in the in the 70s. Ah, yeah. Strange, apparently. But yeah, top electro pop, all the way from Salisbury. Isn't that your neck of the woods? Yeah. Moving on. So tell us about what was the backwards sample? I don't really want to mention it because we might get sued. But so which singer might sue you? Maybe a quartet from Sweden, maybe. But see if you can work it out. The Tweenies. Okay, and on that bombshell, thank you for watching Nub TV. Actually, no, I'm going to sing a song. This is a song about time travel. Watching Nub TV unravel. We're not a band called ABBA, but I'm a fat guy called Jabber. God, I might pop to Pizza Hut on the way home. Come on, throw this TV dog a bone. God, that was shit. Thank you. Watch it go by. There is a light up in the sky. You sit and watch it go by.